Welcome to Ofofo Studio. My guest for today is Chirag Pugalia from Matarmedia. Matarmedia is Bangalore's most sought after content creation agency. The rest I'll leave to Chirag.
Hmm.
Chirag, tell me about yourself and then probably how it all started. What are you doing in Matarmedia right now? And the other things that keep you busy.
Perfect. Thanks for calling me out today, Angad. I think it was a pleasure talking to you last time, and I think I'm
Likewise.
glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
A little about me. I sort of came to Bangalore 2017 to study in Christ. Really wanted to I had I was very sure I wanted to start something of my own. I always wanted to solve problems. So I think being a Marwadi also, I think every dinner table conversation was about problems and how do we solve them.
Yeah.
So I think that piece was always there. So wanted to explore a lot of things. What can we do? Did try my hands on multiple things. Ultimately ended up at Matarmedia.
Hmm.
Used to do photography as a freelancer,
Hmm.
and sort of during college also used to do a lot of freelancing gigs, very low paid freelancing gigs.
Hmm.
But it used to keep me going. I used
What
to
was your
get that.
first what was your first gig about?
So there was this badminton tournament happening.
Uh-huh.
And then, this guy was like, hey, can you make some designs for me? And can you like cover this event? Can you do photography?
Right.
I was like, yeah, I do.
Hmm.
And how full day event and camera and commute, everything. I was like, how much do you think you have budgets for this? He was like, 1,000 rupees. My cab's cost was 1,200 bucks. But I still went and did
But
it.
it's for the experience, right?
Yeah, I still went and did it.
Yeah.
I had a camera,
Yeah.
I had to fight for a camera which dad got me. It was one of the Sony crop sensor cameras
Mhm.
that dad got me for like my for performing well in my 12th. So that score 95, you get a camera.
Yeah.
And I did
Yeah.
95.2
Mm.
just to get that camera, and like got started somehow like that.
Point two should qualify for some accessory, right?
Uh-huh.
The
So
95
that
are getting a
extra.
point two strap.
Yeah, straps. But yeah, I got the kit lens and the
Right.
camera. I started doing exploring photography. This was not 12 actually. This was 10th. So
Okay.
11, 12th, I did like a lot of. I dabbled in a lot of. I picked up a lot of skills
Okay.
early on. I think photography, graphic design, Photoshop,
Right. Right.
marketing. The dad was doing a startup. So
Okay.
again, our family has been very entrepreneurial.
Hmm.
So dad was trying groceries B2B supply chain, like Big Basket, but in a tier two city,
Got
like
it. Got it.
Nagpur.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was key. There's nobody doing marketing. I forced myself as like, I let me do everything marketing here. So I was playing around
Yeah. Yeah.
with like that entire model and business. And I picked up a lot of skills. So after school, I used to go intern there. Like I forced myself as an intern there. I was
Right.
doing everything.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot there. And
Hmm.
then I think that really helped me for me to like connect the dots later.
Right. Right.
When I came to Bangalore, I was like, what the dad's business was trying to do was, a more centralized version of like having groceries being supplied to customers. I was
Yeah.
like, let's decentralize it a little. So I thought, because the wastage costs were very high, the
Hmm.
cost of inventory was very high,
Yeah.
the logistics was extremely high,
Yeah.
and it wasn't making sense. Right, Grofers started it, shut down.
Yeah.
Pepper Tap started, they shut down. Big Basket was barely, trying to
Surviving.
like
Yeah.
survive,
Yeah.
and they were delivering like 48 hours
Yeah.
after you place the order.
Hmm.
And we were trying to do that within 3 hours. He would
Oh.
deliver kar rahe, and
Yeah.
then the cost of it
Amazon
wasn't
failed
big.
at it.
Yeah,
Amazon, they had like something called
exactly.
Amazon Now, like a
Uh,
3 hour delivery or something. They failed.
yeah, and this was 2015.
Yeah, okay. Oh my
This is
God. So this is
2015,
like even
2016.
before that. Okay. All right.
So ये तो बहुत पहले we were trying to do this. It wasn't working out. So when I came to Bangalore, I knew ki the struggles that startup was going through, and I was like, how do I try and solve this probably a different route?
Yeah.
So that's when we started organizing street vendors. And we were like, because one insight was that hey, people like to choose their vegetables and like pick and choose. They
Correct.
don't
Correct.
want someone else to do the selection and like send it.
Right.
And people have time where
Right.
they want to invest into that, and it's an activity for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of people,
Yeah.
I want to go take a walk,
Right.
pick vegetables, talk to the guy, come
Yeah.
back. So that India runs on those
Yeah.
emotions and like
Those
thing
relationships. Yeah. Yeah.
relationships. So you're like, how do we make those relationships prosper in a much better, in a much hygienic way,
So when you
in
say
a much
we, it was you and
um, I generally say we for like everything that I've been doing. ऐसे लगता है ना team है भी.
Hum.
Like we have a team for it.
Yeah.
But उस time it was like a bunch of college students who were volunteering with us.
Okay.
And they were essentially, they thought we would do what we were doing was something exciting. There were two of my friends who were majorly contributing to this alongside me, Sayam and Pradyum.
Mm-hmm.
They were also sitting, and I used to bounce off these ideas with them. They were really excited. They were like, "Let us jump in and like help
Nice.
you out with this."
Nice. Yeah.
And it also started with Divyam. Like so, all of this started. The idea for this started when we made a short film documentary for a competition that I made with Divyam, who's my current co-founder.
Well, what is it called for the listeners and the viewers if they can?
It's called Streetopreneurs. Please
Okay.
don't go check that out. 'Cause it was
Reverse
bad.
psychology, you have to check it out now.
Because it was bad. It was college first year. I was trying to make a documentary, but we did. The documentary was Streetopreneurs 3 minutes for a competition. It went through, and on the stage they were like, "Okay, now you highlighted the problems.
Right.
What is your solution for this?"
Correct.
That was out of syllabus for us. We didn't know we had to present an idea
Yeah.
or a solution.
Yeah.
We blabbered things, and some of those ideas were like, though we've been thinking about it on the spot, we blabbered certain things, but then people came back to us and they were like, "Why this is legit a good piece? Why aren't you working on it?"
Yeah.
And that sort of pushed us to like dive deeper into it and like take things on the ground and try to talk to a lot of street vendors
Yeah.
in a very serious sense about like, okay, how do we solve this problem? So 2 years in college spent on that as a personal project, as a passion project, try to build that.
Hmm.
We got incubated also within like a university club,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where they started sending us for a lot of B plan competitions.
Nice.
We went to IIT Kharagpur, we went to Jain University, multiple universities. We went to SRCC, pitched our ideas across.
Hmm.
People liked it, but still, I think a lot of things were in the air, like
Right, but
numbers you
it's
put on
very hard to
presentations.
execute. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
the problem
So
exists, but I think a lot
yeah,
of people have had their tries at it, and
yeah,
people like they haven't been very successful.
yeah. So there was a lot of and we were kids
Yeah.
in college, so we had put numbers on presentations
Yeah.
that we didn't know what they translate to or what they mean.
Right.
But without anything on ground, we've created a very beautiful business plan and a deck, and everything makes sense on paper,
Yeah.
but not tried it on ground.
Right.
And I think 2 years of doing that, and getting rejected everywhere, and like people telling us ki this is not how things work, which
Yeah.
was like good. We realized that this is not how things work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that day we stopped making B plans. We're like,
We
we just need
do the
we
stuff.
just
Yeah.
need a plan A.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like just go behind that.
Yeah.
And so second year onwards, where we started doing things on ground. A lot of drama happened with university as well.
Mm-hmm.
That story for some other day, but
Right.
I'm not sure if you'd want to talk about that here. But
No, like, it's entirely up to you, man. Like, I don't like. I'd like to listen to it. Yeah.
But yeah, that a little bit drama happened here and there because
Okay.
we were building things in college.
Yeah.
They wanted ownership of that entire model. As soon as we started doing things offline and started building impact,
Yeah.
we built like a pilot of sorts with the street vendor. And usi time pe we moved out of the club as well because of all the drama. And then we were like, let's build it on ground. We did see some success
Hmm.
there, but it was a
This is
catch-up.
2000?
This is 2019.
2019. Okay.
So till 2017 to 2019, we've been working on this.
Yeah.
2019, we see some traction on ground. People are excited. We built like a very nice model of how this could work.
Right.
And we wanted to franchise street vendors.
Yeah.
We want to create a brand, franchise it to street vendors, fix their supply chain.
Yeah.
So that fixes their costs. We save 50% of their cost by getting them better quality raw materials. We increased their revenues almost 3x their, the number of cups that this guy was selling. It was
Wow.
a sweet corn stall. So we
Yeah.
increased the number of cups, gave them such a nice brand and t-shirt and merch, and like packaged everything so well ki they had so much respect that they were pulling in from like their audiences and such good meaningful connection that they were
Nice.
building with their
Nice.
audience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One small thing that we did was ki we changed because it was right outside Christ. We tried to make it very hyper local.
Got it. Yeah.
So if a stall is outside a college area,
Hmm.
what we did was we changed the menu items to names of the departments. So instead of just masala corn, it was management masala. It was LLB lime and pepper.
Oh, nice.
It was
Nice.
Mexican media.
Nice.
It was
Nice.
every everything on the menu had a college reference, where students started coming there and fighting for their department. I'm studying BBA, I need management masala and whatnot. And then those experiences we built around the stall. Another insight was the more time, because street food is like an impulsive buy.
Yeah.
The more time someone spends at a stall, they're basically attracting more crowds to come there.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
we increased, like, if a person was spending just 2 minutes there, we increased the time to 10 minutes by like
How do you do
creating
that?
these experiences.
Okay. Yeah.
People fighting.
Right.
We made conversations happen with the vendor and the person. If a
Nice.
person's coming, there's more stories that are being discussed and conversations happening.
True.
So the person staying there for 10 minutes. We added like QR codes, hashtags, upload a story or make a video of this and like tell your feedback.
Yeah.
And get this corn. So till the time they're making that story or whatever for a free cup of corn, they're essentially attracting people, and there's so much hype happening around this.
Yeah.
And then the street vendor was mind blown. It took us like 6 months to convince that guy, hey, let us do magic with you.
Yeah.
He didn't agree, and he was like,
I
no,
don't want to be a guinea pig.
I don't want to make money. I don't want to like do things.
Yeah.
And every street vendor didn't have that aspiration. If they had aspiration, they would have figured a lot of things.
They're just afraid of change, right? And very understandably so. Like their livelihood depends on it. Like, any drastic decision over there, it means that they don't have enough to eat. So
their risk appetite is super low.
Yes, obviously. But
and they're surviving on every day's income.
Yes.
Where we wanted to create some buffer for them.
Yes.
Hey, you have like 2-3 weeks of savings, at least a month of saving. That was a big thing for them.
Yeah.
If they had like 1 month of buffer kept somewhere.
Wow.
That was a saving for them. So we wanted to work on the credit piece as well. They have some amounts there. Maybe that could help them take their decision faster to improve on this. We weren't trying to compete with them. We were just trying to put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And create beautiful experiences. Because we realize the power of those experiences, right? I go to a tea stall and he makes a chai full of pani. It'll ruin my mood. I will go and then make 5 other people's experiences bad, right? And one good experience would also sort of couple down to like other experiences. So we're like, where all can we touch these experiences, make them better? And that is where we enjoyed doing that. So when Divyam again joined, like when we started doing this piece, Divyam again like came back. For 2 years, he tried different things. He used to take college students on treks. He used to organize parties, made good money, did a lot of things, made a lot of connections, built a very strong network.
Yeah.
And then he joined back, and we were like, let's do this. So he joined back because now all of this was going to take money.
Yeah.
And we didn't have funds to like college was stopped supporting us. And then we didn't want to ask parents for some reason.
Yeah.
Which seems stupid right now. I think we should have asked. But we didn't. At that point we were like, let's build it ourselves. I used to freelance as a photographer. Divyam used to freelance as a videographer. We were like, I had a camera, I had the lights, he had a camera, he had a gimbal, he had the sound stuff.
Yeah.
And we were like, perfect, let's work together. Our equipment is complimentary tha, ki that was all we needed back then. Ki yaar,
you complete me.
Yeah, you complete me. That's where it started. And then we're like, ठीक है, let's do media projects freelance karke. Whatever money we get from there, we'll probably fund this street vending business.
Yeah.
So that's how we started. Freelancers, we were like, let's come together. Let's sort of take up projects.
Right.
College, we used to do we were in the media teams everywhere. So we used to do a lot of stuff for free.
Okay.
Like if we do the same things outside, we'll probably get money. So उस time पे ऐसा था कि हम लोग को 1,000 रुपए 2,000 रुपए we used to make that much.
Right.
And then we took up this one corporate photo shoot project. Got paid like 15,000 for it. And we were like,
that's where the real money is. Yeah.
That's where the real money. We felt bad for asking for so much money. We felt like we were cheating the brand or something. We didn't feel right. How could I ask for so much money?
They said yes.
15,000 for photo shoot.
Yeah.
Like, and back then we didn't realize what's the value of like these services out there.
Right, exactly.
And though we were getting paid 15,000, which was like very dirt cheap for like doing almost, I think, 300 employees ka photos. Wow. And then and the complication was they're sitting on some chair that we're clicking them on, but you need to make them sit on some other chair, which is like the brand's like common chair.
Okay.
So there's like we have to do like a lot of Photoshop and like for 300 people and make them sit on this other green chair. and make sure the shadows fall through together.
Yeah.
It was
Now,
just
now
like,
that 15,000 doesn't sound like a lot.
yeah. Back then we were like, "Acha, theek hai, they're paying us 15,000 because there's so much work." So for us, we were like, "Ki, theek hai, we're getting paid fair."
Right.
Only to realize if I have to do something like that today, I'd probably charge like 10 lakhs
Yeah.
or 15 lakhs for that. But like, us time pe, it was just like way underpaid. For us, it was like good stuff. And we were like, 15,000 we made.
Huh.
This month is sorted. Next month we need to figure out.
Yeah.
We will make one more client. Someone pays 10, 12,000 a month and we are sorted. Every
Yeah.
month on month we are sort of growing.
Right.
Then we hired a graphic designer, again college volunteer student, not taking much, but like our entire I think initial team was people who were driven by ki, hey, these guys are doing something cool, I want to join them.
So how do you inspire the same kind of passion in others? Like, I can understand you or your co-founders being passionate about it because
Yeah.
you've got like your skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
But how do you invite external stakeholders and how do you share that vision?
So I think it's easy to do that with college students because they don't think that far, or they're not worried about making money.
True, true.
They're not worried about balance
Lack
in
of
life.
responsibilities. Yes, yes.
So there's no responsibility. So it's very easy to do that with college students, and all they need is like something cool to work on
Right.
and to go back and tell their friends that hey, I'm busy and I'm working on something cool
Yeah,
and
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
And they need to be made felt special about this. So
Right.
that worked. That's how under 25 essentially works, right?
Yeah.
All of their hustlers are volunteers. Nobody
Right.
gets paid.
Right, right.
They don't even get reimbursed for their
I
expenses.
never did. I know, man.
So that's how these student cultures, the amount of energy that these guys would bring to the table
Yeah.
for absolutely no expectations. That's just insane. That only I think students in colleges could do because
Yeah.
they're so. My dad says this कि college का जोश
College
ये
josh.
होता है
Yeah.
ये जवानी का जोश या college का जोश होता है
Yeah,
कि
yeah.
people are like people are willing to go beyond
Right.
their normal there's no limits.
This so, yeah.
People stay up all nights. We used to pull all-nighters back to back, I think, to like pull through work.
Right.
Because 9 to 4 we have college.
Yeah.
And then 4:30 to late 4 a.m. in the morning we used to pull through all work, 12
Wow.
hours of work. And then 4 to 6 we used to sleep. And then 6 to 9 we used to take all meetings with clients, and then 9 o'clock go back to college.
Oh shit.
Like that pattern happened for like good, I think, 1 month.
Okay.
This is when from doing those 15,000 projects, we're like, now we have two business ventures. We need a CA to
Right.
like help us sort this out, get these registered, maybe try figure out money because everything was going from my debit card, and
Yeah.
I was taking personal money, personal payouts.
On that, I have a question. Like, when did you decide that it was going to be made into two business ventures? Like, when did it become clear to you, like that what you're doing to pay the bills
Yeah.
or to fund your main idea
Yeah.
is probably what you want to go after with all your might?
So we did split these up into two because the teams working were very different.
Okay.
And probably back then, what we felt was I was the common piece in both sides. Where on the streetopreneur side it was me, Sam, and Pradyum, and on the media side it was me and Divyam.
Okay.
And I was trying to like put legs in both ships.
Yeah.
Again, college ka josh. But we realized that these two things were different.
Right.
But I think one common piece that we both were running by was that hey, we wanted to like leverage the power of experiences.
Yes.
Make someone add value to someone's life by making better experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even everything that we were doing on media side of the story was also like we're curating better experiences, more visual, better experiences
Yeah.
for people, covering events, creating content which people consume, and then they take decisions
Yeah.
based on that. And here we are also sort of curating experiences. So that was the goal. Ki, okay, Mutter as a whole has to be something that is these two.
Was the name decided then?
Yeah, so name was decided like 2 months before like this happened.
Yeah.
But like, and that's another I think fun story. Ki,
Let's go into that.
is it?
Yeah.
So that college drama that I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was that college wanted to own the Streetopreneur project that we were working on because we were using college resources and we were working in college infrastructure. And it wasn't the entire college to blame for, it was a few professors who had just got into the ecosystem. They were working in corporates,
Right.
and probably in corporates, you fight over like uh,
Credits
business
and
credits
trademarks.
and
Yeah.
like
True.
equity, and people
Yeah.
act like sharks,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the fierce sharks.
Right.
So he thought he could step in into college and probably do something on those lines, and
Yeah.
he wanted to like probably just teach us seriousness of how things work outside.
Right.
Probably wanted to give us a good taste of that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm grateful that he did
Mm.
something like that, because it taught us a lesson ki, hey, things could work like this outside.
Right.
But that is when, a misalignment happened, that hey, we were thinking that we want to build this beyond college as a venture, which is
Yeah.
why we were putting our heart and soul into it. And they stepped in and they said, the professor said, ki, no, this will be a property of the college.
Mm-hmm.
Once you graduate, you move out of the system. Someone else will take the onus of running this.
Okay.
And that is what we were not okay with.
Yeah.
And a lot of quarrel happened where they were like, they went ahead and trademarked the name Streetopreneurs,
Oh.
and they took the IP for it, and they
Mm.
sent us like warnings that hey, if you use this name, we'll file an FIR against you. You'll be kicked out of college.
That's going too far, man.
That went too far.
Yeah.
Probably it was just a message to scare us.
Yeah.
But even putting it on a WhatsApp message
Yeah.
was like going too far with it.
Right.
I could have taken screenshots and like blasted it across social media, but like was never interested in
Yeah.
like taking that, making that a bigger issue.
Right. Right.
We were like, let's just change the name and continue doing the same things
Exactly.
outside college.
Exactly.
Because we always knew ki they could probably take the name,
Right.
which
Yeah.
we were very hooked to.
Right.
Ki we really loved the name. It hurt a little to like let go of that, but
Yeah.
we were like, okay, we change the name, we do it outside. The
Yeah.
vision is intact.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's what's more important. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
and I think we knew that it's not about who does it first. It's about who's standing till the last.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we wanted to be there. Ki, okay, even if they put together resources, they put money into it, they wanted to put 20 lakhs, build the app out.
Hmm.
We could never do that. We were struggling for 15,000 bucks. So we were like, it's okay. Even if they make an app, I knew for a fact it's not going to work because they don't understand what we were trying to do
Yeah.
from a vision standpoint, from a first principles approach of what we wanted to solve.
Yeah.
So I was very confident that hey, we'll also build it. We'll build it slow. No worries. We'll build it like cockroaches, like completely bootstrapped and like with extremely low resources. We'll get somewhere.
Yeah.
And even if we are able to make like 3 street vendors' life better, that's still a success. That's still a win for us.
Yeah.
So we weren't afraid of like someone doing it faster, someone doing it better, because we knew and we would be happy if they went ahead and did it,
Hmm.
because then we would at
Validate.
least
Yeah.
ki
You
the
get
ideas,
validation. Yeah.
this problem and solution is validated, and
Yeah.
if they would have done it, we would have known ki okay, we could have learned from their mistakes
Correct. Right.
and we could have built it better. So I would have been happy if they did it, but we moved out, and probably 2 months after all of that fight, they canceled the project. And then I was like, then why were you fighting for this for so long? And with so much intensity,
Yeah.
they just canned the project. The entire club got canned.
Yeah. Oh my God.
For some reason, and because when we also moved out, a lot of people moved out with us.
Yeah.
And then I was also driving a lot of things as secretary there. All of that drama happened, but then we were like, okay, we need a new name. And then and for good 3 months, we were so hooked on to the name Street of Runners. We didn't want to we
Let
couldn't
go.
accept any other name to
Yeah.
come there. And we had lived the name already.
Yeah.
So good 3 months, we made like lists and whiteboards and papers and notebooks. Everything was filled with like ideas and names and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you call a vendor in Italy? And how do you Zomato, Dunzo, everything is an O after it.
Yeah.
Where do we add an O?
Yeah.
Do we call it Vendozo? We just went all crazy with like as many options with names and
Yeah.
like filled boards and sheets,
Mhm.
but nothing really clicked with us. Like, you sometimes you have a name and you're like, it just clicks with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're like, kya? We explored every other brand's names, Oyo, Ola, O three letters,
Yeah.
and like we explored all languages,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
languages, what words mean. So never spent so much time with literature
Yeah.
when it came to that. And I'm sure you guys also must have with Ofofo, like
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Brilliant.
thinking that went behind it, but like, yeah.
Yeah. But then we were so frustrated with it कि
Mm.
अभी नाम नहीं आ रहा है, and we've spent good 3 months on like figuring out a name,
Yeah.
and we want to really move past that, because we're like, hey, this is not the biggest problem that we have to solve.
Yeah.
There's much bigger problems that we need to solve.
True.
And why waste so much time on this? So, but one thing which was disappointing was that it was only me, Pradyum, Sam, we were trying to like figure out names. The team wasn't like putting an effort. The team was doing their tasks, and the culture was going a little dead overall. We wanted everybody to participate in the name because it was something that they would work for.
Yeah.
So they were not showing that initiative. And I was a little upset about that. So I told the team, ki, hey guys, I want all of you to come up with name suggestions. Come back to us with like 10 names every day. Because we've been doing that. We were like making a list of 20. We were sharing that with each other. And then we were cancelling all of those out until we find something. If we liked 5, we used to put those aside. We used to cancel everything. And we asked, if 3 people are doing it and we're not able to get to a name, if 20 people do it, we'll probably get to some. We need to increase our funnel for ideas, and then we'll probably get some ideas from there, and something will really stick. That wasn't happening, and then I was so frustrated. We had the design ready for the stall. We had to get it printed. I gave the team an ultimatum, ki guys, I'm really done with this. Put a name, send ideas. Every day morning you wake up, whatever you see first, just put it on the group. Like, let's just blast random things. We used to look at roof, we used to look at
Now you're getting very
whiteboard.
desperate.
Yeah, we got that desperate with names. And then uh I was just like, and people started laughing, कि ऐसे थोड़ी नाम रख देंगे. And I told them, कि guys, you give me a name, otherwise, I after this point, I really don't care about the name.
Yeah.
It's probably what we do would make much more of a difference than what we are called.
Correct.
So I don't mind. I see anything tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll name it. If you guys don't send me suggestions, even if it is that matar puri, matar on that table, that was someone had left matar puri, matar masala puri, and there was matar in it.
Yeah.
And like, even if it's that matar, I don't mind. Like, I just like, I'll call it matar. And people were laughing, huh? Like, stupid guy.
You think I'm joking?
Yeah.
Like, cut to 3 years later.
Yeah. So just next week, nothing happened. Just to like nudge them again, I just changed the name of our WhatsApp group to Mutter. Earlier it was called Cedar. I just called Mutter, and I wrote it in Hindi so that people know ki, oh, this guy is really doing it.
So, mutter, for people who don't know what it would be, that means green peas in Hindi.
Peas, yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, okay.
So I did that,
Yeah.
and people came back to me, Chirag, are you joking about this, no?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not joking about this. I'm serious. Why do you think? It took a while for like me to act that, hey, I'm not joking about it. Though I was joking about it, but I acted like I was very serious about it, and I didn't realize like acting, like people started living it.
You imbibed it. Yeah.
People imbibed it, and we started living it, and every team meeting I used to be, okay, so let's do a mutter catch up today. And then it just started like putting it everywhere, so that my intention was that people will get irritated and annoyed by it, and they'll come back with better ideas. Like, it'll nudge them to like, okay, we can't call ourselves mutter, let's come up with a better name. But
That
nobody
went
did that. Nobody did that, so we're like, fine, let's just roll with mutter. I designed a logo myself, and I put it on the stall, and like formalized. Like, that is how you formalize in the early days. You just change the name of a WhatsApp group, and you probably design a very basic scratch logo, and you put it out.
But it does have a good ring to it. Like, it's very fun, irreverent.
Yeah.
Like, it comes across as someone who's like, probably a little casual, but in a good way, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if I go through your website right now, I see all the important, serious stuff right there.
Yeah.
But I also know that there is a fun, adventurous tone to whatever you do.
Yeah.
So I think that is encapsulated really well by the name. So
yeah. So we were able to post rationalize it really well.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing right now.
Because in our industry, there's this thing called fix it in post. We literally did that.
Yeah.
We fixed it in post with our name, and I think people never forget the name.
Yeah, I can't.
So that sort of went, and it's a good conversation starter. Anybody we went and told, hey, we're Matarmedia, we used to call it Matarmedia and marketing back then.
Hmm.
Ki we
MMM.
MMM, ki we are this, and then people will be like, "Huh, Matar?" Like,
Matter
yes,
as in
Matar.
like.
And then it was good conversation starter. It sort of eased out. It had a warm like start to any
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
right off. So we're like, fine, this works. It's five letters also, short, sweet.
Hmm.
Then we made a full form also
What is
to
it?
like post rationalize. We went to the heights of fix it in post.
Huh.
We called it making aesthetical transformations for an ability revolution. The team looked at me, Chirag, that's where you stop.
That's it, man. Like, you got it. Yeah.
But yeah, the team was like,
Hmm.
because the team still tried to like figure, okay, oh, can we change the name?
Yeah.
Like,
I know,
no.
man. I can't imagine like them, talking to their parents, and the parents like, "Where do you work? Work for Mutton Media."
Yeah. Even my parents had a hard time to
Like,
like figure out
yeah.
because my mom was pretty pissed because dad was always in the vegetable business. And then I was like doing this mutton and mom was like तुम लोग सड़क पे खड़े होके सब्जी बेच रहे हो ना what is this you guys are doing and mom was like I think mom's the only sane uh, business entrepreneur in the family. She runs like a fitness studio.
Oh, nice.
Better off than both dad and me. We
Hmm.
keep playing around with ideas and
Yeah.
things. I think she brings more money to the table at home. She runs sustainably. I think good lessons that dad and I should learn from mom.
Hmm.
Because we do stupid things with.
But
we are
you're
in a
not that
good.
stupid. I mean, you're still like, I think you're being too hard on yourself when you say that. Yeah.
Probably, but like, there's a
Well,
lot
let's
that
just
we
talk about
learn.
like, what do you do? What are some of the projects that you're working on?
So, as we mentioned earlier, we're a content company. So we don't call ourselves an agency
Mm-hmm.
per se because agencies models are generally though for the first 2 years we worked more like an agency.
Okay.
After we went full on to Mutton Media, we shut down Streetopreneurs like right after we dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
We'd taken a college project. We'd taken a project while we were still in college that
Mm-hmm.
was of a bigger value and intensity and required like a lot more work to be put in.
Mm-hmm.
When I told you, right, we were doing the, till 4 a.m. in the
Yeah,
morning and then that
yeah,
cycle
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then we were at a place where we had to drop out
yeah.
from college. Otherwise, we would have ended up in hospitals the next day. Like it was that intense. So we
Hmm.
had to take that call. We were in a final semester
Hmm.
of our undergrad and we
Wow.
dropped out.
Hmm.
But then we shut down Studio Panel. We went full into the media business, worked on this like an agency. So we started off with doing everything under marketing,
Mm-hmm.
web development, content design, photography, videography, events, all of these things. For 2 years, 2019 to 21, we run this as an agency. So we had our in-house teams. We used to service media projects. Somewhere in 2019 or 2020, right before 2019, we took the call that okay, we're doing 100 things. That is when we learned that hey, it's important to say no
Yeah.
to a lot of things because
Right.
college ka josh, we
Yeah.
used to say yes to everything that a client would ask us to
Right.
do.
Right. Right. But then
Uh,
you get more selective, right?
yeah, and then we figured that hey, we can do 100 things to make money,
Yeah.
but what are the things that we want to do?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that conversation happened, and then Divyam and I felt ki hey, we were always production folks. We loved camera work.
Hmm.
And we're like, if you're building something, let's just deep dive into that particular niche and let's just build a lot of content,
Yeah.
which is more visual, like anything that is around video, photo, animation. Let's just build that content. Let's
Hmm.
not get into web design, content, SEO,
Right.
100 things.
Right.
We're like, let's not do that. That's not our strength.
Yeah.
So we sort of 100% we jumped into just doing that. And back then we were only doing events. When it came to production, we were only covering events.
Yeah.
And 2 months after making that call, hard call, cutting down our team, cutting down our resources,
Hmm.
shifting everything, scaling everything down to a point, we 2 months later, COVID happened,
Wow.
and events are like gone. So that happened. We survived through that for somehow like 2 months. We stayed back. Then we pivoted to doing a lot of educational content because
Yeah.
during COVID
During COVID, yeah.
that picked up really well. So a lot of edtech brands started. Everybody jumped into making online content. A lot of brands made pre-recorded courses, burned
Yeah.
their money there.
Yeah.
A lot of brands were doing these cohort live hybrid
Right.
courses,
Right.
running ads for them.
Yeah.
So we worked with a bunch of brands, Growth School, any brand I think in the education space, edtech space,
Hmm.
majorly who was making content. It's happened through us. So we started making ads for Growth School. sorry guys if we've been blasted with like growth school ads across. We get a lot of that behavior, annoyed with the number of ads that are running.
Yeah, reach out to Matarmedia.
Scalar Academy
Yeah, okay, yeah.
ads were done. Scalar ke saath we did a lot of
I've seen a bunch of those. Yeah.
yeah, so that, and then Upgrade, My Captain, Masters Union ka all of the content right
Pretty
now
much
itself
everyone
is
then. Yeah.
So we did work even from small academies to bigger like edtech players to funded guys. Spotlight Academy. We made courses. We made some really good courses that we were really proud of.
Hmm.
We so education as a space really blew out for us.
Yeah.
And then we sort of got deep dived into that for a year or more. Then we got into other verticals of content as well. Eventually, we started working with this lingerie brand. So we got into fashion, we got into product, we got into D2C, we got into multiple real estate. We started doing like
Nice.
property videos and like photography, product photography, product videos, a bunch of those. We did like during COVID, we did this complete virtual event we put together for this brand called Community Business.
Mm-hmm.
Because events weren't happening, they
Yeah.
hosted an event online where we created 3D sets and like green screen shoots, and people are coming in. It was an award show, like a complete IFA like experience, but everything
in a
happening
studio.
virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know studios. We did something like that. That
Yeah.
was interesting.
How did you get into these conversations? How did you approach these guys, or did they approach you?
So I think for us, most of it was always referrals
Right.
from day one.
Right.
We worked on one project. That one client would refer us to 10 more. That those 10 clients would refer us to 10 more.
That speaks more about the quality of your work. So, like,
Yeah.
if that is happening very frequently,
Yeah.
then you're delivering right.
Yeah. So it was always Divyam and I who were doing things ourselves for the I think first 6 months or to a year.
Nice.
We were operating cameras, we were setting up lights, we were directing, we were shooting, we were picking up all the weight and moving to locations.
Yeah.
Everything was done. A lot of shoots. I remember it's just the two of us who've done all the heavy lifting to everything. Those used to be like 15-hour days, and it gets tiring to be on production side, like doing all the heavy lifting and everything.
Yeah.
We did that. We had to sometimes rent a lens, for which like our vendor was like 12 kilometers away. I remember Divyam used to like go on a scooter, which is like 10-year-old scooter. He used to travel like 10 to 12 kilometers, heavy rainfall. Used to get that lens, come back,
Yeah.
and then we used to go for the shoot. And like,
Wow.
so we did survive and saved every single penny that we could to sort of make that happen. Dunzo would have costed $300.
Yeah.
But like if we can do it for 280,
20 rupees.
let us do that. And that was the thought process. That's how we survived during the COVID phase, and like after that also till things really picked up.
Yeah.
And we used to underprice ourselves like a lot, which today I realize it was underpricing. Back then I thought it's
No,
too much that I'm asking.
That's how you ease yourself into the market
Exactly.
as a new guy, right? Like you
Exactly.
have to do that. I
Exactly.
don't think
So we
there's
used to do services or work at dirt cheap costs.
Okay.
Which is why a lot of brands also were like, these
Yeah.
every time a new brand comes in, venture funded brand comes in, starts throwing offers or discounts, people jump onto that.
Right.
So these brands also jumped onto us. So that was one way of easing it out. We were horrible at sales. So we were like, so price was the only piece that we could play on.
Yeah.
Get brands easy. Second was that there was strong referral. People referred us to a lot of places. Third was that we were also working with all, because the nature of our business was such that we were shooting content. And on camera, it was almost always like the founders, CXOs, sort of people who would really have like a strong network.
Yeah.
Who, if they connect someone to that network, the value of that referral was very high, and we used to get instant work. So that worked really well. At the same time, one simple thing we used to do was we knew that production is a happy space. Once we do production for a brand, that's a happy space. Post production is something that we're not that great at. We're figuring it out. But when we've given like one day of happy experience to a client, we used to ask for a referral right after that.
Makes sense.
And so we used to be in our t-shirts. We got a t-shirt printed ASAP. Like that was the first thing. So, and we used to take a lot of stories while we were doing the shoot.
Nice.
So every time we tag these people on their stories, they would reshare those stories, and that's how our funnel grew. Like when the founder of a company is resharing story and says Matarmedia and shows us working,
Yeah.
And in that network, 10 other people would reach out to KR Scalar. Anshuman is shooting with Matarmedia, and he's sharing a story, and then the 10 other edtech founders looking at that, they're like, connect me to these guys.
I want this.
Yeah, connect me to these guys. And that's how a referral system blew up very strongly. So that's how we got like a lot of clients came to us. A lot of clients came to us कि growth school के ads कौन बना रहा है?
Oh wow.
And they were like,
That's
these
awesome.
guys referred us, like, and we were like always there.
Mm.
So a bunch of stuff happened like that, connections to connections to connections. That's how we grew. We were always horrible at sales. I think even today, I think that's something that we are trying to pick up. We are much better than where we started from. But I think outbound, inbound, like we're trying to like streamline a lot of our sales process. To even today, inbound is so much that we are not able to put enough resources on building an outbound funnel for us.
Say marketing is good. The sales isn't.
So yeah, marketing is good, sales isn't.
Yeah.
So all of our time and bandwidth goes in just getting back to the leads who've come back to us and who want our service.
Right.
With all Abhi 99% is inbound driven, and there's so much interest.
Yeah.
There is no need to go outbound and get more sales because my ops and my capacity is being maxed out with like the amount of just inbound that's coming in, and it's probably more. Like we are
That's a
having
great place to be in, by the way. Like,
Yeah. It's a
it's
good problem to
yeah,
have.
yeah.
But I think
Scaling might be a problem.
scaling will be an issue, and it's not always in our hands.
Right.
So that is an issue. But we did that, and then I think eventually we realized that also the other good way of marketing ourselves was podcasts.
Right.
Because so we started offering podcast production services for really cheap to brands at cost, because we knew that the guest is always going to be that other founder, other CXO who we need to be working for.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And then we when we get like an hour of time in the room with them, sample them our service, sample them the quality, show them how professional we are. Our strength was production. Podcast production is the simplest. So we were able to sample it to them. We were able to be there. We were able to do a hi, hello, introduce ourselves, get on a first name basis.
Yeah.
That was the best place to like get access to them that no cold email or outreach could take us to.
Absolutely.
And when we used
The
to
whole
do
experience is very powerful.
Exactly.
It's a powerful pitch by itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And every person who was a guest on these podcasts that we shot, so our client is the host, but like the guests would convert as clients right after the podcast. Like they would be like, "Oh, I'll connect you to my CMO. I have this," because every brand needs content.
Yeah.
Right. So we identified that it's a need for everybody.
Yeah.
And especially these guys, when they see us doing things professionally, they're like, they would instantly give us a number and they're like, I have 3 projects lined up for you. I have 10 projects lined up for you. And that was the conversation. And we used to build those relationships from there. And that's how our funnel like grew. Again, that's how we got to work with Nitin Kamath. That's how we got to work with Ashneer Grover. That's how we got to work with Nikhil's. Then we shot Nikhil's podcasts.
Wow.
So Nikhil's podcast got us like, he's recently started, and that got us access to so many other podcasts. So
it's done really well. I've seen those.
Yeah.
I mean, like the quality is amazing.
So so those the other guests that would come on the podcast, they were our instant next clients.
Nice. Yeah.
So that has got us access into room. I never thought I'll be in a room with Kishore Biani sitting at an arm's length. It was like, why would he or why would I like have that opportunity? But we're sitting there and he's having dinner and I'm chilling and we're like having conversation. So it got us access to those environments, which was great for like growing our business. So we've always been very frugal with like our marketing or sales also. How do we build this in the most and that's not scalable, but that's always like, as an agency, at least as a mindset, or it's always like helped us survive with zero marketing spends.
Yeah.
And we've sort of been able to do that. Though I think so this is how we grew for made a name for ourselves. But we realized that hey, still the kind of work that we were doing as an agency, it cannot scale, or probably it's not the right model to scale.
You can only scale it with more people.
Yeah. And we felt that we also started realizing that for creativity or for creative work, the most important piece is for the person who's doing that work, for them to have their freedom You can't put creativity into a 9 to 5. You can't put creative output to. You can't expect creative output from an assembly line
Correct. Yeah.
kind of a setup,
Right.
where you're micromanaging and
You
over,
can't
and
commoditize it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't make to-do lists and tasks
Right.
for
Right.
like happening, making creativity happen. It
Yeah.
could happen at 3 a.m. in the night. It could
Yeah.
happen 2 a.m. And the creator needs their freedom
Yes.
to explore, and they need their time to like get the right output out. Second is specialization. We wanted our creators or our creative professionals to be extremely specialized.
Hmm.
If I'm a food photographer
Hmm.
and I want to build my niche into food photography,
Hmm.
uh, per se, I don't want to. And in an agency, what happens is the same photographer is asked to do. You man a camera on the podcast,
Yeah.
you go for an event, you cover a wedding.
Yeah.
Product photography bhi kar lo,
Yeah.
because you're shooting. Now, your photography is photography.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it works, and people are not able to specialize into and become the best in the one thing that they want to, that they are good at,
Yeah.
or they don't have an aspiration to become the best.
A lot of times it's just accidental, even for the ones
Exactly.
who've made it successful in just one particular niche, right? Most of the stories tend to be okay, I started getting more work
Yeah.
in that area, so I just focus more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it's been. So I think the few good photographers or personal brands of photographers or filmmakers that we follow, all have been global, right? So there's
Right.
Peter McKinnon,
Yeah.
there's Sam Colder. We follow them because they built a niche out for themselves and they're known across the world. They're the
Yeah.
best in one piece.
Yeah.
Like B-rolls, Sam Colder is the best. Nobody beats him.
What are B rolls?
B-rolls is essentially, have you seen those coffee videos? Like people, it's just shots. There's no narrative, there's no story. It's just like cool transition shots. People would take like transitions of like coffee pouring and just an
Ah, okay, okay.
experience.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
So those are called B-rolls. So Sam Colder
Yeah.
started that as a
Mm.
style, and then he was the best. Casey Neistat is the best at his type of content. So there are global brands. India, there are very few people like audio photography. There's Joseph Radhik for weddings, the wedding photography. There's Vishal Punjabi for wedding films.
Mm.
There's like very few people who've built like a brand and a style and a niche for themselves.
Right.
They create art and they do creative work for this domain and this style. But not everybody is able to do that. So there's
Yeah.
still not like a very clear trajectory for a creative journey,
Yeah.
or a creative career option, right? There's no way. These people also figured things out by YouTube or figured things by like learning from someone,
Yeah.
just kept doing it,
Yeah.
built it out. But like there's no formal way of like getting through this. And we realized ki hey, as long as the when we're working as an agency, what we're trying to do is we're trying to output some X result for the brand,
Mm.
with some wrong input, because we're always like we can't hire 100 people
Yeah.
who are extremely niched and specialized into 100 different things and then find business based on the skill sets that we have on table,
Correct.
because
Right.
it's completely people driven.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no machinery, there's no automation. It's purely
Idea driven. Yeah.
purely idea driven.
Yeah.
So my offerings would always change based on
Who you're working with.
who's on
Yeah.
my team.
Yeah.
There could be an editor who's skilled at maybe just documentaries,
Mm.
and he's really good with documentaries. So I build my entire business line around documentaries and I start taking up those projects. A year later, this guy leaves and someone else joins. He's good with reels. I need to change my business to reels. And we were stuck in that loop where we
Yeah.
weren't able to grow beyond a point,
Right.
and there was a lot of time cost that we were bearing,
Right.
because again, in the creative space, I think why a lot of teams or a lot of companies
Mm.
fail to manage creative people,
Mm.
right? I was talking to a lot of people back then also, early in the day. They were like, managing a creative team is a big hassle only,
Oh yeah.
because you can't put it in a standard or
Right.
hierarchy and put structure.
There's very little order.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more order you try to put, the more you're killing
Yeah.
creativity.
Exactly.
So creative teams need to be managed in a very different style, which organizations are not able to do it, because you
Yes.
put them in the tree hierarchy, org structure,
Yeah.
report to this, report to that, manager, 100 calls are taken, too
Yeah.
many cooks spoiling the broth.
Yeah.
That happens everywhere, bureaucracy.
Mm.
Creativity gets killed there. It becomes an assembly line output chain, right?
Yeah.
And that is when we realize ki, hey, brands are doing this wrong, which is why they come to agencies. But if as an agency also we do it wrong,
Yeah.
we're not really adding any value, because
Right.
we're also trying to optimize this as an assembly line. And that's when I think it hit us ki, um, this is not the answer. This could be an answer to, okay, how do you make money in the next 3 years, make good margins, have a nice life? But this is not the answer to, hey, is this the right way the industry should function?
Yeah.
And I think that is what, because we were still young, money wasn't that big of concern. We 2 years of whatever we had built, we were like, throw all of this in the dustbin, and we probably, there could be something better that we could do. We were at a juncture where we were exploring, and we tried weddings also. We were
Yeah.
exploring both places. Ki, hey, what is it that we want to build? So Divyam and I went back to third wave. We were sitting full day, and we were like rethinking through life. All of our decisions have led us here. Now where? But like this is not fun. Like,
Yeah.
because we were unhappy. Um, Part of that unhappiness was that, hey, we are not able to give our clients the maximum delight
Yeah.
on a creative project, because it's a food photography project. I'm having like an event photographer do it. There's a lot of mismatch that is
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
The client's not happy with the output.
Nobody's winning.
I can try selling the output, I can try selling to a client, but hey, who am I fooling at the end
Yeah.
of the day?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And second is that my creators are not happy, my creative workforce is not happy, because they've been asked to do like 10 other things. They're not getting their freedom, they're not becoming the best in what they do.
Yeah.
And we realize that if both are not happy, we are not happy, because we are not growing as a company, and
Right.
whatever we're doing is like we're stuck at the same loop. I can scale this up. I can scale the agency up, have 100 creators, have 100 clients, do this. A lot of people are doing it. But then again, is that the right way that we want this industry to, the right direction for the
Right.
industry or not?
Yeah.
And we realized that probably isn't. And which is why we essentially went back to scratch. We're like, if you have to reimagine how this industry should work, what should that be? How should that look like?
Yeah.
And that is when we focused a lot on ki, hey, we need to put all our creative workforce on a freelance basis, because there they could have their freedom, they could build their niche, they could
Yeah.
build their specialization, they could be the best in one thing, take all of their hassle away, right? So if I'm a food photographer, I should be allowed to be able to do only food photography for the good 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever amount of time I'm
Right.
working
Right.
for my day. I shouldn't be bothered about invoicing. I shouldn't be bothered about legal stuff. I shouldn't be bothered about talking to clients, communication, servicing,
Yeah.
uh, asking for money. Ki, hey, my bills are not cleared.
Very
All of
important.
that.
Yeah.
There's so many hassles that comes with freelancing.
Right.
We're like, what if we take all the hassle out?
Uh-huh.
Give our freelance workforce like a full opportunity to be the best, to do exactly what they love for the good 8-10 hours a day.
Yeah.
We take all the hassle from their end. On the client side, we still sort of, what we were doing as an agency, we take all the hassle out.
Yeah.
We have this pool of creators, let's say 1,000-member creator community, that once we have them, whenever a client project comes in, we pay a little premium on outsourcing every single time.
Yeah.
But we essentially are flexible now to take up projects which are even at a 5,000 rupee level, or even at a 50 lakh rupee level.
Wow.
If it's a 5,000 rupee project, we'll get creators who are freshers, who are college students learning, trying to learn, who are okay to work for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 rupees, build that team, get that project done at least. Like, so
So
our
is it only for particular services that you have people for, or do you also arrange for packages or bundles that customers can buy from you?
bundles is something that we've experimented
Okay.
recently. We want to get into those. But abhi tak it was purely individual services that people would come to us. We would understand the requirements on the client side. We would go back to a creator pool, identify the best set of creators who would be available, who would be fitting in that budget, who would be essentially.
But do the customers get to choose? Like, okay, I
mm,
want to work with like this particular creator.
No.
Okay.
That would be an open marketplace.
Right.
That would be something like Fiverr.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it becomes easier for the customer to choose
Yeah.
when it's a one-on-one thing.
Yes.
So if it is, so those are open marketplaces, or one-to-one marketplaces, where there's one client and there's one creator, right? So Fiverr does something like that, where I think it's easier for the client to choose from,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the technicality or the creative calls between choosing a client is also very fairly simple.
Yeah.
You see someone's work, small ticket items you choose.
Yeah.
But let's say a brand wants to make a TV commercial. It
Right.
requires like a 35-member team. It
Yeah.
has like a budget of 30-40 lakhs,
Yeah.
and they have to like get that done. And they don't understand what's the right team to like
Yeah.
choose, what are so many metrics,
Yeah.
what all equipment we'll need. It's just a very heavy production.
Right.
that is where brands also don't want the hassle of
Yeah,
like
obviously,
choosing the
yeah.
teams. They just want one person I speak to takes complete ownership of quality, and then I will hold Mutter accountable as
Yeah.
a marketplace for quality. So uh, a business like Fiverr, they wouldn't hold quality onto them. The quality
Right.
is on the creator.
Right.
Here, what we do is we own the quality. So essentially, to be able to deliver to the client, we take those calls in terms of which creators would be best to work on this project. We pay a premium on all those things, but it gives us the flexibility to work on as many projects as possible. Earlier,
Correct.
when we were doing just 5 projects a month as an agency, just by making this shift in a matter of 2 or 3 months, we were doing 30, 40 projects a month. And we knew that we were doing that in a very chaotic sense. If we organize things, if we may build processes, SOPs for everything,
Yeah.
we're able to we'll be able to scale that better. So we saw instant scale.
Yeah.
That was one validation. We saw our creators were much happy.
Yeah.
We saw that 40 projects we were doing, almost 30 of those were like standing out for clients. Clients were happy because they're getting really good output.
Yeah.
We've done work which was way better than anything that we'd been doing for the past 3 years.
Nice.
Even the most basic projects that we were working on, we had more impact on those than like the best ever works of the past 3 years. So the quality that we were able to achieve by just making the right match happen,
Yeah.
like solved 99% of the projects. If we make the right match happen, we were trying to deep dive into things as specific as that. Hey, if the client works on US timings, he needs and an editor needs to coordinate with them.
Yeah.
There are two editors. One works best 10 to 2. One is available 7 to 10 for calls.
Yeah.
I'd get that editor to like work on this.
Right.
Whenever there's a similar budget, similar availability, we'd get those matches happen. And those would just make the coordination super easy, the process super easy for clients. The hassle is out because clients don't have to talk to 10 people. They have to talk to this one project manager with Mutter. So it is still like more like a managed marketplace model.
Got it.
Where clients are not. So then there's good transparency on pricing.
Yes.
For clients, right? Because I think that was a big hassle on the client side in the industry. Pricing is super vague.
Yeah, it is.
I've seen the same videos sell for 5,000. I've seen the same videos sell for 5 lakhs.
Yeah. It's like that joke, right? Like, what's the price? It depends on how deep your pockets are.
Exactly. And people would look at the client's face and price.
Exactly, yeah.
Or the brand and price.
Yeah.
And that still happens
Yeah.
in the industry. But we want to change that. There has to be a transparent method of valuation of creative services so that everybody knows. But you can do that when you put everybody on a graph.
Yeah.
And then you see, okay, who's where, and then you identify what's like the transparent price.
Right.
And you try to sort of set that for the industry.
Right.
We want to do that. We were trying to build like pricing calculators and stuff where, ordering content services as easy like ordering a cab, like Uber. If that could be made possible, that would completely change how this industry functions and works, and everybody will have like a fair sense of how creative services have to be valued.
Right.
Which is what we do on client calls. When we jump on client calls, they send us 10 references. We sit and help the client break down those 10 references and what all camera would have gone, what lighting would have been used, how much would have the actor taken. We try to break that down. We try to do like an audit of sorts. Hey, this is all that would have gone down in making this one piece. This is why you should have done it. These are the strategies that would have made sense to do this. And then we try to take the brand from that thought process from scratch. We're trying to sort of build that as the format of how creative projects in the industry should happen. And then we're trying to sort of productize those aspects of it, because those are things that you can productize for scale. The decisions that a brand is taking in terms of, oh, this is my goal. Do I need to make a podcast or do I need to make an Instagram reel? These decisions at least can be productized. These can be automated. And we're trying to optimize on that so that if everything that happens around the creative workflow is optimized and productized and built into a marketplace, then there's more room and more ease of creative work happening across domains, right? A tea stall could also make content, and a Tesla could also make content.
Right.
Very accessible, very easy, regardless of budgets, regardless of complexities, regardless of when something needs to happen. There's someone who'd do it, and if there's someone else who could make this happen, we should be able to make it happen. That was the idea. Um,
Do you see anyone else doing this thing? Like,
there are a few people who are trying to build marketplaces.
okay,
So there's this company called Pepper Content. They're into the written content
okay,
and graphic design space.
okay.
Those are fairly, again, I see one-on-one kind of projects.
Hmm.
Though there are certain retainers or big projects that they also get into, where there's like 100 scripts to be written, 200 scripts to be written, and there's a team of 10 content writers writing those. So things like those, they have sort of optimized. They've also been trying to figure out the video space, but this is a tricky space to figure
Yes.
because the number of variables are immense.
Yeah.
The number of uh, things or levers that you need to play with is intense. And I think um, for us, it's about key whoever is doing it, we'd love to we
Just
need more
understand.
people
Yeah.
to try and figure this out because we're also trying to figure this out. Ki
Hmm.
how will this work, right? So there's a hypothesis that this could work. But there's so many challenges that even we are essentially, I think, stuck at a few places trying to figure fundamentals out.
Hmm.
And if anybody else is able to do this, it's going to change how the industry works,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And we want to decentralize the industry in a way that there's no five agencies who are holding all of the content business
Yeah.
in the country.
Hmm.
That it should be decentralized to every single person. So we want to eliminate agencies. We want to have everybody be a single person agency. I want to replace myself. I want Matarmedia to die off with this model because I want everybody in my team to
Hmm.
be an agency of themselves,
Yeah.
right? Where because marketplaces, I think a big piece that sort of goes wrong is in the creative services businesses, even in tech services, right? There's one person who closes a deal, the BD guy, then it gets pushed off to a ops project
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
They will end to end take care of the project. I think that is where a lot of accountability gets lost because the
Yeah.
brand builds a trust on the sales
On
guy,
the sales guy. Yeah.
and then it gets pushed to the ops guy, and ops guy doesn't have that much accountability because the brand he's
He's
not
not really
sold,
facing. Yeah. Yeah.
he's not done the sale.
Right.
So he wouldn't, or he or she wouldn't like know the seriousness of like all the commitments that have been made,
Yeah.
and they work the process.
Yeah.
Like they follow SOPs, they build it like that, and then the client comes back to the sales guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not done. This is
Yeah.
not done. This is what you promised. This is what is delivered.
Yeah.
Ultimately, a lot of back and forth happens. A lot of marketplace models or people who've tried their hands in marketplaces suggested that hey, this is where the model gets stuck,
Hmm.
right? So we want to be able to like make 90% of our workflow optimize and productize so that just the 10% that needs to be done becomes like a subway model.
Got it.
The person
Yeah.
who takes your order, makes a sub,
Makes it. Yeah.
delivers it,
Hmm.
then comes back, right?
Yeah.
We want to build that model into this place where all of my team members also become their own agencies,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Calvin, who is my project director, he becomes an agency of his own.
Yeah.
He's closing the sale. He has a niche. Again, everybody, even these guys are specialized in their niche.
Right.
So the only things that we do in-house is BD, project management, talent, and quality,
Hmm.
and finance and HR, those
Yeah.
admin work.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I want like to replace all of these also
Hmm.
as like their individual agencies. Calvin likes automobiles.
Hmm.
If he could be the sales guy, the project manager, the talent guy, everything
Hmm.
using this system and using this engine
Hmm.
that we build as a marketplace,
Yeah.
we're able to close 5 automobile clients with pricing calculators, with bunch of things, consult them using all of this,
Hmm.
able to manage those projects, able to find the right talent who's
Hmm.
interested in automobile via our matching algorithms and stuff,
Hmm.
deliver this project, be an agency of his own, work 5 days, 10 days a month,
Hmm.
chill in Goa, make like 3-4 lakhs a month
Yeah.
on a daily basis, doing what he loves doing.
Right.
Right. If we could make that happen, that would be the day that I would feel ki yaar, we did bring an impact, and
Yeah.
that it'll be fun to like make that happen.
Hmm.
So I think that is what we are building towards. That hey, I want to kill my business,
Yeah.
make everybody independently, enable them to like run their own agency, be free,
Yeah.
specialize into something,
Hmm.
live an abundance lifestyle, sort of decentralize, and make more creative work happen in that process
Hmm.
using this. And letting creative work be at the hands of people. Uh, Art is what runs us as humans. If
Hmm.
you've seen Dead Poet Society,
Yes.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, so
Poetry.
poetry, romance, music,
Romantic.
that is what makes us human.
Yeah.
So let that be at the hands of human.
Yeah.
Let us all build good art, build good creative work
Hmm.
that takes humanity like to greater levels of enlightenment. And if we could build an engine where more of this happens, I think that'll be the goal. That'll be our life goal to sort of make that happen.
That's perfect, Chirag. So, Chirag, I think like that was a good point to like bring this to an end.
Yeah,
I think at least this episode. I
yeah,
would like to have you again in for another one.
would love to.
Yeah, like whatever you've imagined so far for multimedia to be, I hope that comes true,
Yeah.
and I hope to be on your platform too. Like
Would love to.
I want to make a lot of money and chill in Goa as well.
Yeah,
Like, but
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
so how do people reach out to you, Chirag?
So I think we're up on Instagram, we're up on LinkedIn. My handle on Instagram is the Broke Founder, because that's another story. But LinkedIn is Chirag Pugalia. People could reach out to me or Matarmedia. It's on Instagram, LinkedIn primarily. And yeah, we could probably put our emails down here,
Yeah,
so
it'll
that
be in
could,
the description of the video.
yeah,
So yeah, you can reach out to him directly to
yeah,
his LinkedIn or a YouTube channel if you have one.
yeah, or email,
Yeah.
whatever works.
All right,
So
man.
that's good.
Chirag, absolute pleasure having you us.
Same here, same here.
Thanks,
I
man.
have to call you for my podcast also now.